You're listening to In Context Podcast. This season is proudly powered by Old School Africa.
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome.
Which one is the
Jinx.
deep voice? What's the deep voice you're trying?
See,
Hello, people. Hi.
please allow.
Hi.
We
have a guest today, as we always do. But before that, as we are the host, we have to introduce ourselves.
Normally now.
Hi, my name is Oluwatoyin for short. And then we have that other lady that is beside me.
It's just the beginning of a new day. So let me not say some things I will not be proud of. I mean, I'll always be proud of it, but it's fine.
Oh, if I feel you, but let's just move on.
I just want you guys to know that the guest for today is a bit of a rogue, but I will get into that. My name is
won't take
Joanna.
that, right?
At all. Good. My name is Joanna. Please, guys, listen to me. My name is Joanna, but call me Jo. And yes, you're tuned into In Context. Oh my God.
Not us saying it together.
But yes, aside from that, what's the tea? Yes, you're tuned into In Context, proudly sponsored by Old School Africa. And without further ado, let's introduce this rogue sitting in the middle.
Do you want to hit the mic on this, babe?
Sorry, no vex. I was saving that for later, but
I'm on your side.
and God will have it.
I'm on your side.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Izzie Ekong.
Let us introduce you.
Sorry.
Roll out the red carpet.
Let's give you that, the that and the. You don't worry.
That English. I can't check whether my degree is still intact.
Okay, we have Izzie, a content marketer who started off her career as a customer success intern at Piggyverse. Wait, why are all you Piggyverse people coming?
There's a
trail now.
There was a time when the team was much smaller where the majority of its staff was really support staff.
Right?
Yes.
Because I see the trail.
Yeah.
I see the trail, but okay. And now she has worked with Patronize, Document Women, Nestcoin, Payday, Waka Now. If you don't know all of these brands, I don't know where you are staying. So please. She's also the co-founder of TEMC, Tech Marketers Support Initiative. And his mission is to support newbie tech marketers to launch their careers strategically through successful through boot camps, scholarships, internship, mentorships, and more resources. Away from our work in tech, she's a model and fashion stylist. I mean, if you can see the video.
I'm sorry, I want to say they lose concentration, but to myself, because that was all I was waiting for. To talk about the fashions.
The fashions,
And
the bags, the wears.
Fashion. I did not fail spelling bee. This is FASHUNZ. Fashions.
Say UNZ.
Yes, fashions.
Joanna.
Anyway,
all right.
fine girl. Alpha.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Are you feeling shy?
It's like I'm at this point. I'm shy. Like, oh my gosh, a lot.
Stop! Not you trying to form humble, please.
Let's start with your hair. Your hair is nice, so.
Thank you. It was actually very odd because I've never done anything like this.
Did you lucky for us?
No.
Well, I mean, no.
Wow.
Sadly.
You could have just gone with it. Women are not good people. You just go.
Women are
No,
not
I can't lie
good
to you. No, that's the thing. I don't be lying.
Who wants a truth and a lie that will not be able to get it? Okay, if you insist.
I'm sorry, but while the hair is really nice, who knows Kokoro?
What's that?
Okay, you don't know. It's
Is that a different name for this thing?
No.
Okay, because they all have the same pineapple head, so I thought that was it.
It's cool. But you Kokoro, you know Kokoro, Abi? Just do your Googles.
Is that like an actual
when
word?
you will leave set, just don't worry yourself, my dear. Just do your Googles.
Oh my god.
But nice,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
But the hair is
Thank
really,
you.
really nice. I love it. It's beautiful.
you.
I think
And you guys can't see our shoes, but
I can
the
raise
shoes.
it up.
I will
Show them, show
I can raise it up.
them. The shoes are
Show them
camp.
camp.
It looks really nice.
Thank
I
you.
think I was
Thank
fussing
you.
over your head first.
Thank you.
Last time I saw you.
When I did it, yeah.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyway, without further ado, Fisayo Fosudo, if you hear me, Wink. Let's dive into the first agenda for
Okay.
today. Is it first item on the agenda? I don't go
Item
school.
7.
I've not done my masters, but
True.
I already do. How can you?
Can you
How can you
focus? Can two of you focus?
Sorry,
Yeah,
I'll
Rudo.
be here. I'll be here.
Very bad
I'll be
character.
here.
Okay. Well, so we have an icebreaker for you.
Good.
Pick a number from 1 to 10.
7.
Why?
Have you noticed that there's a trend of people picking 7?
They like
Children
7.
of God.
We'll
now.
go
We're
remove
just
the
children
7.
children of God.
That's
Children
what-
of perfection, darling.
What is a perfection,
It's in a-
darling?
Okay.
Okay,
It's
let me
giving
check.
Bridgerton, you know.
Number 7. 7. Okay.
For Bridgerton, you went to 7.
I like this one. Dearest gentle reader. Okay, so the question is, what is the weirdest food combination that you enjoy?
That's the thing. Like, would it be weird? Because for me, it's not. But again, for people, I think is
Try and be
rice.
weird, Sha, please. For the
You
sake
said
of-
I try.
No, that's the thing. I'm also very picky with food as well, so I can't be that weird. But I think the weirdest thing is rice and okra soup.
Okay, you're
I think it's
sorry.
top tier.
I think say
I
you're
think
disgusting.
I think
but-
it's top tier.
Ew.
Yes, I'm sorry. I've had
Hello, security.
I've had rice with almost all the soups that I've had. Yeah, that's how much. That's it. Like I think rice and the okra, and if the okra is made nice,
No,
sorry, I'm like too good.
no.
She's literally in
But
this zone right
something.
now.
It's also something I wouldn't eat outside just like that.
Of course you
Because
would.
again, like I can't really trust people's okra. But you see, when it's properly made, people should try it.
No, never in this life.
Like,
Say you're coming to my house.
I would not.
You see the thing about it,
Eh?
I've not come.
Eh,
So
but
there's
that's
no
you're coming now.
where. If the mountain they go to Mohammed will also stay in his
Yeah,
house.
I'll bring it to your house.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
When
I
Mohammed
love,
can
I
just
love the
refuse to
agenda.
open the door.
I love the agenda. You're strong with it, but please don't say it
You
outside
think you
the
can
gate.
corner me?
It's
inside
but that's not even the
Koro?
worst because people have had worse now.
Oh, tell me what's the okra?
Speak.
I've heard someone say Indomie and egusi.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Like those are things that when you hear it, and
Sorry,
something is wrong somewhere.
Eba porridge beans.
Darling,
people
why
do that.
See, do you get those things are worse?
They're not worse. Oh.
They're worse.
I'm sorry.
They are
just
all
for
in the same
texture of
category,
okra.
but they are also really terrible.
Okay, if you say so.
Fun fact, my dad actually does this thing.
See
What?
the real
Rice
G,
and
like
okra.
see.
Rice and okra.
Yeah. But moving on.
So you're acting like you did not come from the loins of a strange
You know
man.
funny thing. When this video goes live, in the comment section, you see people agree.
It's a lie. I
they
put it
would-
to
They
you.
will not
I
be
mean, so I put it to
agreeing.
you. Don't worry. I know my
Yeah.
people were plenty.
Sure odds. I mean, what did you say?
Joke.
What do you betting?
Don't
Our
worry
mental
about it.
health.
I don't want.
Please, that's a lot to bet on, darling. No.
Joanna.
The whole mental health.
Me, I was just
no.
gonna say, do I want mental health?
Okay. Well, there's that.
Oops. Well,
Anyway, we are getting
without
into
further ado, again, Fisayo.
that. Oh God. The idea is to be subtle, but okay.
What's
If you
your
say
worst
so.
combo?
No,
because I'm actually curious.
Is it your show? Is it your show?
Okay, sorry.
Easy as out.
You climb red carpet, you call the interview.
I don't get.
Very bad attitude and character.
Don't-
Keep it to yourself.
I'm just curious.
What's actually my worst combo? I don't be eating weird stuff.
Exactly.
Normally.
No, but for real, I don't have any.
Okay.
Because before I even get there, food is not just.
I don't
all that
trust.
for
See, let me
So
just tell you,
before
I
get
wouldn't
there-
trust Oluwati. Just keep that in mind. So whatever she says, just put it in your left hand and put it behind
That's
you.
all.
Normally.
Not taken.
But yeah.
On the same podcast.
What?
Now me and you.
Moving on to the
No
agenda
wahala.
of the day.
Okay. We're going to start from the beginning. Back in the days, when
Yeah.
Izzie was still young.
Sorry.
Good. Now. Oh my. Moving on.
We all start from somewhere.
Exactly. So your first role,
Mm-hmm.
how did you land it? Because it be like say that's the partner. Your first role in customer success at Piggyvest. How did that happen?
So that was COVID. um I was working somewhere, but that didn't work out. And then I was freelancing, and
Freelancing as well.
Does
as a
freelancing mean you
Help
were
you to help us
you
all.
didn't have jobs or things
I
doing,
didn't have like a 9 to 5,
but you
but
were
I was
doing a
doing,
lot of
yeah, I was
things?
doing like a lot of social media management for like small businesses and things like that, and I was also job hunting at the same time. And I think on Twitter I came across um an opening call like, oh, we're hiring for customer support. And to be honest, it wasn't really something I'd ever seen myself doing. But I'd been using Piggyvest for a bit. And I was like, okay, you know what? I mean, not a bad start. I had also just moved to Lagos. So I was like, okay, not a bad start. So I
Jolly
applied.
just come. Like, I
See,
almost
my dear.
think about you carrying him back. Just
So
Sorry, I'm just going to do a random shout out to my friend Patricia here. Patricia said when she came to serve in Lagos and she was walking along the road, she was just asking anybody, please, I'm looking for a job. Do you have job
Patricia
for
that I know?
me? Patricia. Oh,
little
man.
beginnings. But yeah,
Like
so
they
I
could have kidnapped you, sister.
actually,
But you know what? God loves you.
because people just know that you're just like
yeah,
fresh.
you just
Yes,
came.
Yeah. So I'd seen the call on Twitter and then I applied, and like I think this was the entire process took like maybe 4 days. I got a call back. I think there was like
Really?
there was an interview, and over the weekend, I think on the Saturday, I got the offer letter, and then I started on Monday, and that was it. It was different because I didn't know what I was getting into, but I just knew that like I didn't have to have so much experience, and I was like, you know what, I'm always
Let's
open
go
to
there.
learn, so let's go there. So yeah,
You went to go and see what they are doing there.
and it was a lot, but
I feel like I have a sense of this because oh my god, I didn't tell you guys. I'm sorry, I do
Here
this
we
all
go.
the time because apparently I know people. Oh my god. No, but
Joanna,
seriously.
please.
Okay, so
Okay, carry
Izzy
on.
and I worked at Piggy Tech. So that's why I'm like, let her not put it to me that Joanna, don't you know? So I'm asking for the benefit of other people. So transitioning from support to marketing, content marketing, that's quite the shift, right? I mean, you have talked about doing social media even before you started in support, so I can see what kind of bridge those skills would have provided for you. But what would you say were the key skills that you developed during this transition that helped you grow from one stage to the next?
so the thing is, so I like to think that like because I was recommended for the promotion, it meant that I've been doing good work that was visible enough, and
Sorry, don't say it like I know. Just say people don't know. Promotion to what?
I'm getting there. That's
Okay.
so like
Okay,
Joanna,
please. I don't want to miss the tea now.
yeah. So I was promoted to social media lead for Patronize by Peace Obinani. Shout out to Peace. How are you? Yeah. So I think for me, some important skills, a lot of soft skills, because that's one of the things that you develop while working in support, right?
Yes.
Attention to detail, being able to manage multiple things at the same time. But at the time when I think after I'd done like a year at Piggyverse, I started to really want to move on from support to marketing. So I had taken 1 or 2 courses on social media marketing, because for me I think that was like the next step. I didn't know a lot about like a lot of other parts of marketing, right? So I didn't know like product marketing, group marketing. So for me, it was like, you know what, I'd always known how to do social media marketing on like a smaller scale. And so for me, it was, you know what, how do I now move on from
Scale
here?
it, yeah.
Exactly. So I started to do a lot of research. I started to talk to a lot of people who were in that field as well. And I think I told Peace one time that, hey, I would like to move to do social media, and I think she just held that. And when the opportunity presented itself, she was like,
Pushed
you know
you
what,
forward.
exactly. Because I remember just getting a call and saying that, oh, we are considering you for this role, and you are recommended by Peace. And I'm like, oh, that's nice,
Cool.
thank you. And that's how I moved from Piggyverse to Patronize, and then started social media.
So what I'm hearing is be opening your mouth and be asking for things.
Oh,
Tell
yes.
people what you need.
And that's
please.
also something I'm learning to do a lot, because I think that sometimes I'm always in my head, but I'm also learning to actually talk about things and like ask. Do you get? Because again, like when you ask for things, right, you might not get it immediately because sometimes people don't have answers
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
But
Yes.
if you keep talking about it, they'll always remember. And
Yes,
when an
top of
opportunity,
mind.
exactly. So yeah.
He's a self-sub too, so I was reminding myself, but all right, all right. So you've worked with like a number of brands. Again, I'm going to mention them because it's not easy.
It
So
isn't. No, sorry. It isn't easy to
easy.
be easy.
No, wow.
Pour me water.
Oh God, you should have just did not spot it. Anyway, so you worked with Document Women, Patronize, Nestcoin, Payday, Waka Now, right? What were some of your most pivotal projects and like how they affect your career? So which ones do you think were most pivotal to you, your career?
I think working at Patronize,
Yeah.
I think it stretched me. Um, for somebody who had always been doing social media marketing for small businesses, small brands here and there, and then having to do it for a B2B, it was quite an
It was
interesting
different
shift. Yeah, it was a
experience,
very
man.
different experience because, to be very honest, initially I was clueless, right? Um,
Poor girl.
darling. I was, but I did get a hang of it because then I started to ask questions. I talked to friends, people who were, you know, in that field as well. But for me, that was a stretch because I came in not knowing exactly what to do, and figure things out by asking questions, learning, improving, self curiosity as well. Um, and I'd like to think that that was something that
Paved the way.
paved a way
Yeah.
because, again, I think that just also seeing the work that I did also helped boost my confidence that, okay, you know what, I can do this thing. And when I left Piggy Tech in general and moved on to my next job, which was Nestcoin. Nestcoin was not a B2B, right? So that was also another interesting thing because, like, okay, now we're going back to something that we know, but also not just something that we know, but in an entirely different field, right? This is Web3. Also very interesting because I didn't know anything about not I didn't know anything, but very, very little knowledge about Web3, right?
Yeah.
And now you have to do social media marketing and growth marketing for this company. So where do we go, right? Again, self curiosity. You're going to read, learn, ask questions, not be scared to try things and fail and experiment. So those are all the things that happened. But I think for me, the job at Nestcoin was also very pivotal in a sense because financially as well. And I think that job also gave me, because I started my career at Piggyverse, and I think that when you work at somewhere for a bit long enough, you get really comfortable, right? And I think for me, being able to get the job again, like, remember that I just moved and Piggy was my first job, right? So now this was the first time I was actually actively seeking a job
Oh,
out of my
right.
comfort zone and putting myself to the test, right? And getting the job and being able to leave Piggyverse for me was like, okay, you know what? We've left where we started, and now we have to figure things out now and make
Left the
a
nest.
yeah, and exactly, like, make something out of everything that we have for my. So that was pretty much it. So I think for me, that move was very pivotal, and that's also what gave me confidence to go for other projects or brands that I've worked with here.
I see, I see. We love a
Thank you.
good launching pad.
It was a
Yes.
good launching pad, yeah.
Oh, cute. Hashtag jealous. Hashtag go again.
Joiner.
I'm so silly. Don't mind me. Great. So let's talk about, because you mentioned peace, and you know that peace has been pivotal, and I know that aside from peace in your journey, because one of the things we didn't even mention here is your involvement in community work, which, like, I know that in the early days you were actively involved, and I don't know how much, but you're actively involved in the virtual community, non-tech in tech as well. So I'm sure that there have been a lot of, aside from the formal context of getting support and mentorship from people, you I would say, I think it's safe to assume, and I may be wrong, that you've had input in terms of like mentorship from different people, right? Like,
Yeah.
we can assume that, or we can
Yes.
deduce that.
Yes.
My head is working. Um, so in that sense, I just like talk about what your experience with mentorship has been, and it could be on a peer-to-peer level, it could be a senior to junior, and maybe in an exceptional case, a junior to senior type
Yeah.
thing, where in a specific area they have more knowledge than you. Just, yeah, like, just talk about it as a whole, and then also highlight some of the specific advice you have gotten from one mentor, two mentors that I would say skyrocketed, your growth trajectory.
Yep.
Off the top of my head, something someone said to me that I think not just um helped me see myself a bit better, but also push myself better was I think when I had just left, no, while I was at PD, um Fermi said something to me. He was like, "Oh, one of the things I love about you is that I can always count on you to get the job done." And I think that was very important because for me, I like and I pursue excellence, right? So you give me a job and I want to get it done, but not just get it done, but get it done,
Excellently.
when due, right? So I like to pay close attention to what I'm doing and ensure that again, like I'm not just getting the job done anyhow, right? But when I do something, I want people to say, you know what? I know she did that thing because that's the kind of person that she is. She would put her best into it, and I think just getting that feedback from him um, made me sit more on myself and be like, okay, you know what? This is very impressive and this is very interesting because it validates all the things that I'm doing and all the things that I'm thinking in my head, right? And so that was very important for me. Like I take that everywhere, and I always say that Izzy, one thing about you is that you get the job done. So how do you go about this, right? So yeah, that was very important for me because again, it wasn't just I like this about you. It was very validating for me as a person. I can't remember any other specific advice from any particular
But you
person.
can just talk about like mentorship as a whole, and
Your experience with men.
yours.
Okay. So
Maybe
with
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so with Peace as well, it was, she was my manager, and I think she's an amazing person, right? Um, and I think that I didn't, while working with her, she paid close attention to me as a person, right? Not just getting outside of, the things that we're doing at work, like easy. I think we used to have check-in calls. Yeah, we did used to have check-in calls. So, how is work going? How was this week for you? Things like that. So that also opened that way for me to be able to run to her when I had problems or, when I was facing something to say, hey, Peace, this is what it is. This is what I'm dealing with. What do you think? How do you think? And I think even after I left Piggyverse, she still was that person that I know that, okay, push comes to shove, I can just message Peace like this. I think recently when I was even like job hunting, she sent me a couple of things, and at one point I was also really doubting myself, right? It was a role for a lead marketing or something, and I was really really doubting myself because in my head I'm like, why not be yesterday when we just start like jigger like so I was really dealing with, and I remember calling her late in the night, and then she was like, see, whatever it is, you can always call me, right? You can do this, right? If push comes to shove, call me, you're having a problem, let's talk about it. I will be here, right? And I don't take that for granted, right? And I think that that's very important. I think people should have people like that in their corner that regardless of what it is, right? I can go to this person and say, see, this is what I'm dealing with. How do I go about it? And they have experience to lead you, right? And I think it goes both ways as well, because for you now, you're impacting somebody else. And the more you talk about something and the more you
Share your knowledge and
yeah, more you
perspective.
share your knowledge, right? You're also getting fed as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that people like Peace Obinani, Feromi, I can't mention everybody, but Liza at Nestcoin. Liza was my manager at Nestcoin. And I remember just joining Nestcoin again, very lost, and she really held my hand through it, right? I knew that, and I still know that if I call her, she's going to have my back, right? And I think she's played that role even with Tempsy. I remember calling her and telling her, oh, I'm starting Tempsy, this is what it's about. And she's like, hey, let me know what you need, I'm here. And she has supported in money, also being one of our mentors this year. So I think that for me now, that's like, okay, there's this rock solid person that has my back and wants me to succeed, and they don't just told me that they want me to succeed, they've shown me multiple ways that, see, I'm here for you and I want you to succeed. So I think that mentorship is a really huge part of career progress and career growth. And I think at whatever stage you are you just starting your career mid-level? I think even mid-level probably need it more, because again, you think the mid-level is like, where do I go from here, right? It's always a bit confusing. So I think even people in mid-level definitely need mentorship. So yeah, I think mentorship is very important. It helps you mentors as well help provide more clarity as to, whatever goal you are chasing, right? Because they have more experience. So yeah, I think mentorship is a huge part of career growth, and people should be able to get mentors. But again, getting a mentor is not very easy. So there's that.
Real.
Yeah.
And you will know because you run TMC. We're going to get into TMC
Yes,
fully,
actually.
right? Have like a proper conversation about it. But before then, we want to do a little help. You're going to provide people with some help
Okay.
as a generous person
Help my
that you
life.
are.
This segment is supposed to be called "Help My Life," but
Yeah, we scrapped that for a reason, Joanna. We did.
We don't
Okay.
scrap it. We just put a pin on it. They're two different things.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why you're doing
If
like
you
this.
insist.
Anyway,
Okay, so we are helping Kelechi, right? And Kelechi, he or she, I don't know, he or she didn't mention, but I'm going to go with a she. Sorry.
why?
Because girl power.
I
She's
rate it.
Just read it as it is. Don't gender Kelechi.
okay. I mean, you sounded like such an African mother in that
Yes.
moment, and the way I also fell into
Kelechi
it.
did not give you gender.
Okay.
So-
All right, Joanna. All right. So I'm a mid-level professional with about 4 years of experience in the industry, and I recently transitioned into a new role at a different company. While I value mentorship and the traditional approaches, it hasn't been very effective for me. I tend to thrive when mentored by my peers. Unfortunately, my current team has a mix of very junior and very senior colleagues, which makes it difficult to connect with peers who can offer the guidance and support I need. Have you encountered any similar challenges, and how did you overcome them? I'd greatly appreciate any advice or insights you might offer.
So the problem is they don't know how to go about like getting a mentor.
The peer-to-peer mentorship, right? So the other one hasn't really worked out according to Kelechi.
Okay,
right?
so getting a senior mentor hasn't worked out.
Yes.
So they've relied on peer-to-peer mentorship.
Yes.
But then they're on a team that doesn't have enough of their peers to bounce. I mean, that's what I'm guessing here. It says,
Yeah.
unfortunately, my current team has a mix of very junior and very senior colleagues.
So it's like there's no
So when you say peer, I like to believe it's people who are like sort of on the
Horizontal,
same
yeah.
yeah.
and there's very limited knowledge, or there's very limited mentorship that can happen with that, right? Because if you're both on the same
Level.
knowledge gap of some sorts, right? Because for me, like I think that is very important, right? But again, getting somebody who's more advanced. So I think for this person, right, struggling with getting a senior mentor, questions will be, what exactly do you want in a mentor? Right? Why do you want a mentor? What kind of mentor do you want?
Yeah.
Right? What industry should they be in? Right? What level of their career should they be? So when you narrow all these things down, you start to network
Yeah.
with people in that box that you've created, right? So again, ask people, oh, I'm looking for somebody XYZ. Can you connect me to
Yeah.
somebody? You might reach out to a bunch of people and they might not reach out to you immediately. But again, you keep going at it, keep putting yourself out there. Again, people want to be able to see, why should I mentor this person?
Yeah.
Right? It's very important. I'm not going to devote my time or resources to
Yeah.
mentoring somebody who's not going to be in
Put
that
in the
process
work,
with me
yes.
and putting the work, right? So people want to be able to see that. So maybe that's also another thing. Maybe some of the people that you've reached out to they don't have enough reason to agree to mentor, because mentorship, and again, mentorship, one-on-one mentorship, for instance, is very intentional. It's time taking.
Yes.
It takes a lot to get. So if we're going to decide that, what, you and I'm going to start mentoring you, and we're going to be doing 2 hours on the weekends, or maybe 3 hours on the weekend, right? It means that I have to consciously clear out time for my calendar. So if I'm going to do that, and then this person is not in that process with me, and they're not as intentional about it as I'm going to be, then that's also a problem, right? So I think outside of just reaching out to random people, create a list of what you want in a mentor and why you want that, and start networking or creating some sort of circle, with people
Yeah.
in that category, and give them a lot of reasons to want to mentor you, right? Let it be that, you know what, this person reached out to me. I may not know them a lot, or I've heard something about them from somebody or something, but again, I will go for it because it's worth my time. So I think that that's what a lot of them, because again, I think people just look at it like, oh, I want someone to mentor me. Are you ready
Mentorable.
enough to be a mentee?
Yeah.
Do you get? So
Yeah.
that's also very important. That would be my advice. I think they should narrow down what they want in a senior mentor, and then, you know, start to create them, like start to make themselves desirable for that
In that
person to want
sense.
to mentor
So
them.
you're not of the you don't, I don't want to say you don't think, you're not keen on peer-to-peer mentorship.
I think it's great. I think it's very. I mean, that's why this one, me and this one. So I mean, I think is very important. But I'm saying that it can be limited, right? For example, if I'm facing a problem that this person on the same knowledge gap as me has not experienced before,
Then
how
I
do
will
they
be
help
able
me out?
to.
Do you get? So maybe it would be great to have that, but also have somebody else. So if I discuss with you and say this is what I'm going through, and I can't really get concrete direction, there should be somebody else. Do you get? So that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
So
It's
it's an
important,
addition.
but it can also be
Yeah.
limited.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough, fair enough. Interesting. We're going to talk about MC now, but you know, Joanna is gonna
Yes.
share it.
Okay. Yes, time to talk about MC. I'm sorry, I always have a backstory for every question I'm supposed to ask.
Let's have it. Let's have it.
No backstory for this one.
Okay.
But I'm not telling the backstory.
Oh, why
But
did you
yes,
not say it at the beginning?
because there is one, and I'm a girl of mystery. God.
Okay, after doing podcast is when you decided you want to be
I want
mysterious.
to be mysterious and quiet.
If
You
you
guys
say so.
don't know.
If you insist,
I don't
If
want
she
to be.
says so.
According
If
to
you
you, the
insist.
kids. How did the kids say it? I don't want to be perceived.
Oh my goodness, Joanna, please
Okay.
get off TikTok.
Anyway, whatever you say.
We'll kill her for you too.
Let's talk about your accelerator, Temsi. As a co-founder of Temsi, what industry gaps did you identify that led to the creation of this initiative, and how does Temsi support mid-level? Actually, it's more like entry-level marketers, but you can talk about that, but also like if there will be any plans for
But,
mid-level
yeah.
support for marketers advancing in their career.
Okay. So when we started TMC, my co-founder reached out to me. I mean, she had the child idea, the brain idea of, wanting to do this. And I remember I agreed to come on board because again, with marketing, right? We realized that there's not enough support for people in marketing, right? And now this extends to non-technical roles, but I'm going to be specific about marketing. With technical roles, you see a lot of fellowships, programs,
Yeah.
all these things that are catered to them, right? And then you're asking yourself, so me in marketing, like, where do I go from
Nothing
here?
for me.
If I do, when I do 3 years,
Only marketers therapy.
Shout out to Marketers Therapy.
shout out to
Just
marketers
be
therapy
shambles.
though, because
Shout out to Michael though.
see,
Yeah.
so it was really when I've done 3-4 years in my career, what next,
What
right? It's
next?
like, where do I go
Yeah.
from here? How do I further? How you do all these questions. And again, I think on Twitter there were conversations just about like technical roles, non-technical roles, all these conversations that people were having, right? And I remember her saying that, I want to create something for marketers to be able to prepare them for global opportunities, right? We want to also hear that, oh, this marketer got an international job, this one, this, blah, blah, blah. All these things are available. We want to hear like, oh, programs, fellowships, so that was a major reason why we started it, because again, for people, someone like me, I've had community, I've had support, I've had, people that I can hold, that were holding my hand through my career. And I felt like it was important for other people coming in to have that, right? Not just getting the skills or not just getting the knowledge, but also, being mentored and, getting the internship opportunities. Again, another thing that people struggle with is after they've gotten all this knowledge, in fact, while getting the knowledge, there's a lot of things, right? So say I want to start a career in marketing and I'm just going online, I'm going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I'm going to be overwhelmed with all the things that I'm seeing. And again, you end up seeing.
Was it Yetunde that said something about she was drowning in a sea of information?
Exactly. So you end up, getting all this noise. So you see people that have done like 10 courses and they've just not gotten one job. Right. And we also see that as we, go through this as well. So we really wanted to create a 360 support that helped people who were just starting their career actually kickstart their career. We wanted to, make it a bit easier for them. So that's why we started Tempsy, and that's the reason why I came on board, because for me, I've had support, and I felt like being somebody who has had this much support, I'd like to be able to pour out all of that into, other people as well, and just give back to people who are just starting their careers. But to answer the question, do we have anything for mid-level professionals? We are working on it. We are working on things. We're also like thinking about how do we also provide this same support that we're providing to people who are just starting their careers, to people who are in the middle of their career. How do I, again, something I said earlier was, for mid-level professionals, sometimes it's like, okay, where do I go from here? I've gotten a mid-level job, I'm a manager, like what next for me? Do you get? So we're looking at being able to come up with something that caters to that, but one of the things that we currently have that I'd say is our newsletter, right? We just launched a newsletter, and while we were thinking about the idea and working on the strategy and all of that, for us, the TA for that is not just people who are starting their career, even though that is what Tempsy is focused on. Our newsletter as well is for people who are mid-level career professionals, senior level as well. So we're talking about all the ends of marketing, right? How do I get started? Campaigns, tips and advices, a lot of things about that. But basically creating a newsletter that at whatever stage in your career or whatever stage in your marketing career, this is an essential resource for you. That's the goal for us. Just like how you have some finance newsletters or finance blogs that people know that, okay, this is a top newsletter for anybody who wants to work in finance, regardless of wherever you are. So that's what we're doing for Tempsy as well. But also trying to also focus it in the African ecosystem, because that's our context, right? So we want to be able to see what brands are doing all over Africa. How do we copy this? How do we do this? How do we do it better? So bringing all of that into the newsletter. So I believe that the newsletter is going to be a resource for people in marketing at whatever career or whatever stage of their career that they're at here. So that's it.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You've talked a bit about Tempsy, so now I'm curious. Like, so far, what's like the most standout success story from Tempsy? Like this one that made you like, oh, this is all worth it. Like you really like.
I think it would be seeing the progress of the first, because we've only been doing this for 1 year. This is the second year.
Okay.
Yes, this is the second year. And I think seeing the trajectory of the lives of the scholars from when they started the program to 1 year
How many
down.
scholars are we talking about?
The first year we only took in 6 scholars.
Okay.
This second year we did 10. The first year, because we launched on International Women's Day, we only took in 6 women.
Okay.
And seeing the trajectory of how their lives have progressed, even beyond what I could have thought, right? I think that's very inspiring, and that gives us more reason to keep doing what we're doing, and it means that we're doing something right. I think that is it for me. Just seeing the lives of these people and seeing that, oh, you know what, this person started here and they were so confused, and now look at them. I mean, for the last year, we had somebody who was nominated for product marketing. I think it was product marketer of the year. I think so. Yeah. And that was from one of our scholars, right? So again, that gives you reason to be like, you know what, this person has only been with us for a couple of months and they're getting nominated for an award. So it means that we're doing something right, right? So we take all of that feedback from the first year and put it into the second year, and also find, what did we do in the first year that we think we could have done better. So yeah, we've, taking that feedback from last year and we've put into this year, and I'm quite certain that this year's cohorts will, be a lot better.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's been okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask about, so it's been a wonderful journey for the last 1 year. Well, I've been privileged to speak to quite a few of, I think about 4 out of, there's Faith, there's Faye, there's Gift, I think, what's her name? Is it Yetunde? Yes, I think I've spoken to like 4.
Also 4.
Yeah, about 4. It's crazy.
Okay.
Out of, the 6 from the last cohort. And a lot of them do talk about, their mentorship cycle as being really, really impactful, or just a great experience for them. I'm full disclosure, I was a mentor from the last cycle. I was a mentor from the last cycle. But aside from just my own experience, I want you to kind of talk about the difference, right? If there was any, between when your scholars first graduated from the boot camp, the training, and all of that, and how they started to show up after the mentorship cycle, or even maybe during like, was there any difference? Would you say that the mentorship cycle impacted, and in what ways? I want to tie that as well to what should people be looking out for, because you said it, define what you want your mentor to look, but I think there are basics that you can help us, like, put out there. What should people look out for when they're thinking of what an ideal mentor should be? Forget about tailoring it to the specific career, just as a person. What I mean, for me, the first thing I would say, if you have the chance, pick a mentor that actually likes you or has a bias for you. That's what I would say. That's one of the first things, because it shows. It really does show, or is enthusiastic about the opportunity to mentor. It does show in the work that they're willing to do. But yes, over to you.
So let me take the last one. What should people look for? Like you said, to be honest, somebody who maybe has a liking for you, right? Because they'll show up better, other than somebody who doesn't know you at all, right? So maybe somebody you maybe have worked with, or somebody who will work in the same company with you, or something. But somebody in your own circle somehow. But I think also looking for somebody who is, as much as you are willing to learn, they are willing to learn as well. So they are also very down to earth and also willing to learn, because again, mentoring is a two-way street. If you're pouring into me as a mentee, I should also pour into you in some way as well. So I think that's also important.
Do you want to start advanced or switch to a career in tech?
You can learn the skills you need to become successful when you apply into the Old School Africa program.
Old School Africa has a variety of code and no code programs like front end engineering, back end engineering, data science, data analysis, cyber security, product design, product marketing, and so many other programs.
That was a nice list. Classes are fully virtual, so you can learn anywhere. Tuition is affordable. There's an incredible community of learners ready to welcome and support you. And you can also earn a diploma at the end of the 12 months program.
So if this sounds interesting to you, you can get more information about available programs and how to apply at www.oldschoolafrica.com. Yeah, so I think so my next question is really about like the experience with the TEMC. So we talked about, say, oh, you've mentioned it. TEMC has, like, I think about different phases. You have the training and scholarship phase. You also have the mentorship cycle, and then you have the internship cycle as well. I don't know
Correct.
if the mentorship and internship run together, but I know that there's those three things aside from other resources. So I have two questions basically. Full disclosure, I was a mentor for the last cohort. It was a fulfilling experience on my end as well. But aside from my experience, I wanted to ask, if, because I know that you were recording feedback, you were just taking stock of what the mentorship cycle as a whole entailed. Did you notice any difference in your scholars from before the cycle and after the cycle, the mentorship cycle? And if yes, can you kind of like give us a picture of what that difference looked like? And then I think the other side of it is, for people who are listening that are looking for a mentor, what would you say is important to look out for? And I'm not talking about the ones that are specific to the field that you're looking for. So, like, oh my God, is there alignment in subject matter and stuff? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just even, would I say the
Generally.
character, or generally? Because
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I would say a really important thing to look out for, and I know this is not always obtainable everywhere, but as much as possible, try to pick a mentor that actually likes you.
Word.
Yes, because I think it matters, and I think it shows, like, the disposition of, oh, it doesn't feel like it's too much work to actually, for them to actually show up for you, is quite a game changer. So
Sure.
I would say that.
True.
But
And
yes.
I agree with that as well, because the way that I'll show up for somebody I have an interest in is different from if a random person walked up to me to say, yeah. So I do agree with that. But to start with the last one as well, it's important to have a mentor that people know them for doing good things, so that when you mention their name in public, you will not out here, that one, okay, no
Right.
problem. It's very important.
Problems.
Yeah. So just somebody who has a good reputation.
Mm.
And if you know them, preferably somebody who, outside of your relationship with them, they treat other people well.
Yes.
Do you get? So when you are saying, this person is not like that, and you hear something, it's very important, so that you don't hear something that you are very shocked about. Exactly. I think it's very important to have somebody to approach somebody or be mentored by somebody who has a good reputation. Is also very respectful. I think empathy is very important. And again, you might be asking, how do you know the person is empathetic or whatnot? Again, it still boils down to what you're saying. If the person knows you and has some sort of liking for you, you'll be able to tell these things, right? Even though you don't know them, maybe in close proximity. Their relationship with other people, is something that you can use to judge.
Yes.
Exactly. So which is why,
You can
again,
you can actually just ask questions.
yeah, ask if it's
Just
job
ask.
interview, you ask questions.
LinkedIn, message them. Oh, I noticed you don't have to say you are understudy to see whether they can be your mentor. Just say, oh, I'm considering pitching something to this person. I want to know what the working relationship is like.
Exactly.
They don't know what you want to pitch. They don't know that you want to go and beg for tukubu inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just ask, and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that, research is always worth doing before any endeavor. But yes,
Exactly.
please
So it's looking for a job, getting a mentor, whatever it is. I think, when you ask people, you'll be able to, get some sort of facts that you can use to draw your conclusion. That's not important. Yeah, somebody who, on their own end are also willing to learn. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Those are some of the things that I can remember that I think are very important to look out for, so that you're not just being mentored by somebody who is knowledgeable, but also somebody who is a good person. Yeah, because they will
as can be.
as good as you, your own standard. Exactly. So that because again, these mentorships can make or mar your career.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
mention
very
somebody's name and they're just like, oh, you're
associated
associated
with
with that
that.
person.
Yeah,
then
exactly.
please. Yeah.
So I think these are some of the things that you can also pay attention to and look out for when trying to get a mentor. To also answer the question on how these scholars, their lives before the mentorship program. So at Tempsy, one of the things that we pride ourselves in is excellence, right? You've been a mentor, so have seen a bit of that. For through the bootcamp process, in fact, from the time where they come on board as scholars, we have meetings with them where we let them know that, see, congratulations on getting into the program, but we have criterias, we have standards. Excellence is very important to us. So while you're going through this entire thing, it should be top of mind, right? That at the boot camp, mentorship, the internship part as well, excellence is very important. So we have these conversations with them and we let them know from the job, so that when you're coming in, it's not I did not know. You knew because we stated it to you. So those things are very important. So for a lot of them, when they came in, you could see that there was a lot of confusion. Again, last year we had two cohorts: product marketing and content marketing. And usually, what we look out for in the content marketing bit of it is like, we're not looking for too much experience, right? But with product marketing, we do require some sort of experience, because product marketing is a bit complicated than content marketing. So for most of the people who came in through the content marketing cohort, you could see that even with the product marketing, it's a bit of confusion, not being very confident. But I think that when they went through the program, especially at the mentorship bits, and because last year the mentorship ran, simultaneously with the internship. So while you're at work getting all this experience, right, there's somebody you can talk to
about
the work that you're doing.
Okay.
So the mentorships are usually on the weekends. So, the way that we saw it's like, after a long day, or after a long week rather, and you faced all these things at work, and all of these things, especially because this is a new field for you, right? You can have somebody to at least say, this is what I'm going through, how do I navigate this? And also for us, when we're looking for mentors, we're looking for people who were outside of, doing well in their career or whatever, some of these other things that I mentioned, there are people who were willing to learn, people who, had a good reputation, people who also were working towards excellence in their careers, people who, we could vouch for as well. So we could see that there was some sort of energy exchange during the mentorship period, because as much as our interns were saying, oh, my mentorship was great, I like my mentor, I was able to learn a lot, we also had mentors who were saying, I enjoyed this process. I enjoyed pouring out knowledge to this person. I enjoyed teaching this person. I enjoyed conversing with them. And I think for some of the scholars, they're still in touch with their mentors. So that's very impressive to see that it wasn't just a relationship that we
Was
thought we
only-
could build.
yeah.
It was like, it was just after the program, that's about it. So it's very interesting to see that these people are still in touch, both still imparting knowledge each way. And again, I can see that for all the scholars from last year, you can when you have conversations with them now, you see that they're a lot more confident. They know a bit more. They know not a bit more. They know more in their career, and they're able to do things that they probably didn't see themselves doing when they started. So just being able to see that trajectory and say, hey, this person came in very timid, very shy, very confused, not knowing what to do. But look at them today, like they're content marketing associates at their company, or they're product marketing XYZ or something like that. They're also, and not outside of that, for us, it's also important for our scholars to be active on social media, because we wanted people to talk about their career. I wanted people to like talk about what they're doing and document these things, right? So we've had people who have come and said, see, at the beginning, this is what it was for me, right? But look at me now, like I'm doing this thing. People are also looking up to me in a way. So yeah, I would say that for a lot of them, they came in very confused, not knowing what to do. But today, like I look at them, like, you might as well just teach me at this point. Like, yeah.
That's fair.
Right.
So
okay.
really, just to wrap up that question, would you say that mentorship is key? Like that it is really like is an essential for building any or for scaling your growth really quickly in your career path? Or would you say it's inconsequential depending on context? Just your thoughts. It's not a I don't know.
My thoughts.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very essential. And again, it might not be a clear-cut mentorship, but mentorship in whatever form, whether it's informal, formal, or whatever, I think it's very important, because you would run into stumbling blocks. You get to a point where you're confused because all your experience is not enough to be able to make a certain decision. And you need somebody who has a bit more experience to actually say, you know what, from my experience, this is it. So, you can now use that information to draw your facts or your conclusions rather. So I think it's very, very, very important.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
I
which
mean,
is also why a lot of people would say, having having a manager who is, a fantastic person or a great manager is important, because that's also some form of mentorship. Do you get just
Yes,
being able to work
yes,
with somebody who will, impact your career in so many ways is very
Yeah.
important. So again, like I said, whether it's formal or it's informal, just being able to have some sort of mentor is very important.
Yeah, I want to add that this is something a lot of people tend to miss, that sometimes your desired mentor maybe someone that is out of reach, but that doesn't mean they can't mentor you. I think a lot of established people often talk about this, where they hate when people pitch themselves as like, oh, please mentor me. And they're
When they are
asking things that are already in existing resources.
Exactly.
I wrote a book on that, bro. Go and buy the book. Or I have a free resource, or I have a blog. Like, you haven't done any work, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, I feel like while I believe that mentorship is really important, I think that sometimes we might be a little bit lazy because there's a bit of us needing excessive hand holding that really removes ownership, like taking of ownership. And sometimes it's I've forgotten who was the person. See, so many people say so many wise things a lot of the time on Twitter.
Oh my god.
I think it was Yagazi Emezie.
Okay.
And she was talking about this guy or who had reached out to her and said he wanted to be mentored by her for photography. And she was like, I have a
Oh, I think I saw that tweet.
And she was like, just go check out the page. There's a whole like video there, like more than what I would ever tell you. That video contains a lot of resources, but he was insistent. So she had to ask the question, are you really interested in being mentored by me, or are you interested in having proximity to me? And that's a thing that, because people that are higher up want to conserve energy. They spend a lot of time doing a lot of brain work. Mentorship is added brain work that I don't want to repeat if I've already done some of that brain work. So it's okay for you to not have a mentor in that way, in terms of like I can call this person, blah blah blah. And this is where peer-to-peer mentorship can really hold down the fort for you. Where if you cannot get a senior mentor, you can use their resources that they share. A lot of them document their processes, and then peer-to-peer can be where the hand holding is. Like, it's not the and all be all, but it definitely serves its purpose. You don't have to just, like, it's not neither here nor there. Like, oh my God, if I don't have a physical mentor, then I don't have any mentor at all. It doesn't have to be like that.
Actually, even want to talk about that on like the blockers to mentorship, right? Because I run a community for women design chicks, right? And we have had mentorship programs, and then you see like a lot of people who have come in, and they write the applications, they really want to be mentored, but then by the time they get in, and the mentorship is running for 6 weeks, you're seeing people that are not showing up. It's running
I
for
just had that
9
discussion
weeks.
with Family.
You're seeing people that are not showing up, and it's just very irritating because like, if you go back and read what they're writing, you are going all out. You are very elaborate about what you need from this mentorship. But now the opportunity is here for you. You are not showing up, right? So I think that's like really one of the major blockers. But I also wanted you to talk about like some of the blockers to mentorship. So some people might want to get it, like it's close by for them. The mentor they need is willing to mentor them, but
What
it's
are
just
some
not
things
working
they
out,
do that stand in the way?
That just blocks that ability.
My experience, I'll say sometimes like a lot of people. So for term C, right? When you apply, when you make it through the application stage, you are interviewed, right? And you see applications with like interesting reasons, like, oh, I want this, this is what I want, like well crafted. And when you have conversations with these people, see, and when you have, I think we should introduce a video interview because it would help us get rid of a lot of things. But yeah, like you see people who have like very interesting applications, and when you have conversations with them, you're like, oh, okay, this is the same person.
that all?
So I think a lot of times, and something that I wanted to even chip into when Joanna was talking was, sometimes a lot of these people in senior positions have all these resources, which is why we said people want to mentor people that they know are ready, right? Because if I have multiple, if first of all, if I have multiple resources out there, say on YouTube, articles and whatnot, and you've not read like a good number of them, like what exactly do you need from me?
Exactly.
Here,
What
Right?
extra do you
Ariana.
think
Because
I'm going to give you
yeah,
that I have not
that I
put
haven't
out
put
there?
out. Yeah, so there's that, because again, like Joanna said, lots of people just want hand holding.
Yes.
I just want somebody to hold my hand and tell me what to do and how to do it, and that's not how it works, right? So I think that a lot of times,
And I'll say this, like, while that's not how it works, it's okay if because some people really just need accountability, right? But unfortunately, I'll have to say this: a mentor is not an accountability partner.
so I was going to say that's
two
also where
different
peer to
things.
peer
like there
mentorship
might be
comes
a
in.
bit of holding you to what you have said you'll do, but it is not a mentor's place to be checking in
Responsibility.
with you and saying, "Oh, did you do this thing as we discussed?"
Yeah,
Like,
did you
honestly,
apply as we
like,
said?
that is not, and that's why I said there might be, if that is what you want, you might want to really lean into your peers more, because it feels like we're both in the same space. In fact, you guys might both be working on a similar project, so it just feels like,
You're checking
okay,
in
you're
on
working
both
on your
of
newsletter,
each other.
let's sit down together and figure out this automation thing together.
Yes.
That, like, it makes sense, right, at that time, rather than you've not figured it out, then you're not coming to tell the mentor that the mentor should sit down with you and be
And
like,
figure it
okay,
out.
so if you click on if you just click on that left panel there, where you click there now, just go down, scroll down.
That's
When
what you want your mentor to be doing.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
they
there's
can't
no
do
time for
that.
that. Yeah.
Although a great way to also, you mentioned this earlier, but a great way for that to have happened would have been getting a manager, so that person can walk you through. Your manager is your mentor, but can directly walk you through because they are teaching you, they are helping you get better at your job. But if you are going outside of, the working relationship to get another mentor, then you cannot be asking the person to be coming on Zoom call and telling you what to do.
I mean, yeah, because do I have that time? I also have a
Do you
lot of
understand?
things
Yeah,
that I'm
like
also.
it's just
In fact, you're
you
not
have
even
to keep in mind that mentorship for the mentor is an extracurricular.
Yeah.
exactly. And you're not even the only person they're probably mentoring.
Yep.
So like they probably have other people they're mentoring.
Your
So
manager's KPI is tied to you, so they will be more willing to do that for you because it
valid.
helps you. But every other person, what's their business with you, to
Yeah.
be honest?
Another thing that I wanted to add to this like blockers. There was something. Now I forgot.
Think.
Now I've forgotten. Oh yes. Sometimes people forget that in a mentorship, you can actually just care about your mentor. Like you can actually just care. Like it's not like it's because sometimes people just it's kind of like parasitic in a way.
What
People
do you mean by
don't
care?
know. So you have mentor-mentee dynamics where people come, like the mentee comes on the call and the mentor is really doing all of the how have you been? What's been up with you? And the mentee doesn't remember that they can
It's a
actually put themselves
relationship,
in that
yeah.
position to say, how have you been? What are you currently
okay, I
working
get
on?
it.
Oh really? Are these the details? I think I'm currently doing something, or I was working with this tool recently. If you like, I could help you with that. You can
Yeah.
actually just care about your
mentor.
mentor.
Yeah.
That's something I think people forget. When you add value, in fact, the chances of that mentorship relationship being sustained for a long period of time and also transiting to a friendship is much higher.
Too high, yeah.
If you actually, like I said, pick a mentor that likes you, but reciprocate that like too. Like if you do, they will feel it, they will know, and it will always be worth their time because they know it's always going to be an exchange of value,
True.
regardless of whether you're junior to them.
Yeah.
It's always going to be an exchange of value. And that's something. Figure out what value you can offer it. Don't think about, oh my god, this is not a mentorship situation, but there was a lady who, I don't know if I can mention her name, but she tweeted something about looking for a job for a lady,
You spend
customer
a lot
support.
of time on Twitter. I'm just gonna
I
say
do
that.
actually.
Eh?
Oh my god.
Joe.
I've casted myself, Jesus. I can't lie again that I'm on Twitter. Shit.
Oh,
But she tweeted something about this lady who just got out of a job, and she was like, oh guys, I'm looking for a what's her name? She was like, either a support role or a front desk or whatever it is, please just help me. And then she secured a role for her. You will not believe that like the lady came back 1 month later after like her first salary was paid and actually bought 4,000 naira airtime
Oh yeah. I saw that
for her.
tweet.
Like it doesn't 4,000. Like, is it that she cannot buy 4,000 naira airtime? No,
Yeah.
not really. But it's that you communicate that I care that you did this, and the
Yeah.
little I can do, like my widow's mite, I will offer it,
definitely
right?
give you
And so
back,
sometimes
yeah.
it's not really that. Like sometimes nobody's asking for your money, to be very honest, or some people are. And be wary of a mentor that came under the guise of I just like you, I just want to mentor you,
Just wanna help you.
and then just start milking you. From be wary of that, because that's a leech. But
I'm
you
screaming.
definitely want to consider where can I support, and you can only know that when you flip the question sometimes with your mentor. When your mentor says, oh, so what have you been working on, answer the question and say, how about you? Like, I mean, we always talk about me, but I really would like to get to know more about you. What's been going on with you? Like,
Or they're
Yeah,
having an
and I think
event
that
and you're
I'd also
helping
tie that
out.
into like when you mentioned non-tech in tech, right? I mean, P started non-tech in tech, and I remember like when she was just starting, and I volunteered. Like, see, there's nothing I'm doing myself. Use me, like use me. So we started that. I was a bit active, at the beginning. Life happened and whatnot.
Curating
But one thing
playlists.
is, I mean, if help is needed, I will always show up, right?
Yeah.
So when we're doing no code summits, right, what am I doing with my time? Just volunteer. So I think that, like you said, care. Ask the questions. How can I help you? Even beyond how can I help you? Oh, I see that you mentioned that you want to do XYZ, right? I can do this. So I think that's also important, so that they feel like I'm not just pouring into this person, but I'm getting
Otherwise
value.
it
So that's
drains.
important.
It just drains.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even that you're draining them, but to be honest,
The process itself.
the process drains.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very.
So
I mean,
it feels
agree.
nice that when you are talking to someone, at least one of the headache or one of the issues you were thinking about how to
Has been
solve gets
solved.
They
solved.
help
You
you
still
out,
have
yeah.
maybe 9 on your table, but that one, they will be grateful that
Yeah.
you were able
and
to do that.
I think mentorships don't always come in like, oh, let's jump on a call, let's sit down and talk about this thing. Oh, what are you working on? Sometimes they're very informal, like a text message, or like a quick, oh, I'm just calling to check in on you. Hope you had and then they would say, oh, this is this, and then you can offer solutions or whatever. Like sometimes they're very informal, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Interesting.
let's just segue a little bit out of this.
Is it because you use that word that your body is shaking?
what did you say?
It's getting a little too serious in here.
Chill, please.
Oh my god. No, but seriously, let's talk about your feet.
The fashions,
the fashions,
the baths.
Your work
Thanks.
spans tech and fashion. How do you find creative inspiration in both fields, and how do these experiences influence each other? I mean, I know that you like for people. Oh, Izzie is a very versatile individual.
Joanna, please now.
Versatile. She fits
It's just what happens when you know somebody too much. Because
Honestly,
get
that's the
it's
problem.
the fi-
We've
finish.
seen each other
really
too.
was the
Like,
finish.
it's too bad. It's too bad.
I mean, I think like marketing is also a very creative field, right? I'll start by saying that growing up, or rather, one of the reasons why I went into marketing was because I believe that marketing is a fine intersection between like arts, psychology, and a bit of science, right? I study computer science.
That's so funny, man.
I know.
Like-
I studied computer science.
So you just decided that you're not going to do the coding.
Honestly,
I decided in my second year that this was not for me.
Fair
I almost
enough.
dropped out because I remember telling my mom that, see, I'm not doing this thing. Like, I didn't come to school to learn programming. I don't want to do it. And
Okay,
obviously,
so
like,
what did you think
you think was happening there?
very good question.
Thank you very much for
thank
that. You know that question, ask God. That's not me. That is not my question.
So I went to
Speak
Uniben,
to us.
right? I studied computer science because I wanted to do digital media. I thought it was I thought it was a
I'm
part
so
of
sorry,
the
but
course.
like Nigerian, primary and secondary school curriculum is broken.
It is
Because there is no reason why a student about to go to uni, and this is not your fault,
Think
does
that-
not know what the course they're about to pick entails. Like, and this happens all the time.
But also the thing is, with a lot of other international schools, computer science has there's a part of it focuses on like digital media.
You would have been, I'm sorry, but within the Nigerian educational
know that
context,
time.
you would have
You
been better
didn't
off
know.
doing mass comm.
Yeah.
Actually, now when I think about it, yes. I would have been
Because
better at
I
doing
did
mass
mass
comm.
comm, and we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
It's called new media. In
Yeah.
that space.
So that's why I studied that. I thought like, I could do digital media. I was very creative. So like at a very young age, I had already started like painting, doing a lot of artsy things and here and there. So I really thought like, okay, I'm going to go and study digital media. But my dear, I was shocked. So in my second year, that's when I knew that, see, I'm not doing this thing. And at the time, I now started to like hang around people who were in marketing, who were doing digital marketing at the time. And that was how I learned about social media marketing.
Yeah, you twins. From like third year when I was doing microbiology, I said,
It's not for you.
this is not for me. I'm not a monk. I will not be there. Anyway, thank you very much for helping me. I'm not around. Thank you for helping me to this point. But once I drop this degree,
That's about
the
it.
end.
That's about it.
Anyway.
Yeah. So like,
Okay.
so for me, like I've always been very creative. I've always been very artsy. And again, like I mentioned why I think marketing was a good fit for me because it felt like a fine blend of all the many parts of myself. So,
Yeah.
the science bit of it, the art bit of it, just also wanting to understand people and what makes them tick and what makes them do certain things. So that's also why I got into marketing. And then being a creative person, I didn't know that I always liked fashion. Yes, I think until I like nice clothes here and there. I try out.
throwbacks,
I-
man.
Can you show me? I
Nope.
to
You know what?
Relax her hair.
Once a fine girl, always a fine girl.
Easy now.
And
Let
then
me
I'm sorry,
in.
she'll take pictures like this.
Are you sure? What
No,
picture is that?
no, they need
There
to
was
see.
one picture. Oh my god, there was one that you wore one gown. I was like, girl.
Which one was it? Like a Dongris jean type thing?
Oh, I've seen that one, but not that one. Not that one.
Oh, okay.
But no worries.
Joanna, you
Wow.
don't have the folder of this picture.
I do have
The
it.
funny thing is, she might have the picture, I might never have it. So but yeah, so I didn't know that I always liked fashion as much as I do now. But again, as you keep doing something, you tend to like start liking it a bit more. Until 2020, when I decided to, really sit down and say, see, what do you like? What do you want to wear? In fact, because again, I had just finished school, so it wasn't a thing where I felt like somebody was going to influence my decision. So it was like, see, you that you're out now, what do you want to do with your life? How do you want to dress? And that was really it. So I did like a U-Haul, threw away some clothes, actually gave out some clothes, started making new clothes. So I think for me, that's when I was like, you know what? I do know how to mix and match these things. And, and I think the more you get compliments and the more you get like affirmations from people, it helps your confidence. And just the more you become very aware of yourself, you know what you like and you know why you like it. And that's about it. So that was really how I got into fashion, right? And now it's like, you know what? I love this thing so much. I'd be dreaming about fashion. Born to have 1,000 clothes. Forced to have only 10 because
to learn how to do capsule wardrobe. Who consign me with capsule wardrobe?
So like, yeah. So
Bruh.
I mean, now it's like I really, really do want to, a career in fashion, right?
Oh, really?
Yes, I do.
What
Which
side
is
are you
why
thinking about?
modeling and styling. I mean, that's what we're starting at right now. So I'm now like reaching out to brands and photographers and other people as well to say, hey, again, like we said in the beginning, talk about these things, right? So I used to doubt myself, and to be honest, like sometimes when I throw on random clothes, and they'll be like, nice, so, and I'm like,
You didn't mean it.
you didn't mean it. I would think that maybe they're whining me, but I think over time, like I've just also gotten more assurance in like my own self. Like, see, if me, I leave the house going, I say I'm looking good. That's nothing that you wanna tell me. So I just think that, like, obviously over time, then now like there's TikTok where, I follow a lot of people who are in fashion, Instagram as well, Pinterest, and you pick up styles and everything, trends from people, mix and match. You see a style here, you want to replicate it with a twist on your own style. So that's also how I get creative. And I think that just being a creative person in general, and also somebody who is very self-motivated and curious, helps me, excel in my marketing career. Right. Yeah. I'm very self-motivated. Don't worry. You don't need to push me to do anything. Like, you don't need to constantly be on my neck. Like, once I know I have something to do, like, I'll get it done, and that's it. And that's how I operate generally. So yeah. We've also talked about a lot of things, and like, the field specific areas, and also like characteristics and personalities that you're looking for. But again, like, it's important to know what exactly you want in a mentor. We've talked about, multiple ways you can do that. Know what you want, but also be willing to give back. And be, like Joanna said, be willing to care a bit extra. Because as much as you want somebody to be invested in you, you also have to be invested in them and show them that I'm worth your time. Right. So that's important. And that would look like different way. That would look, different for different people.
Shout out to my beautiful mentee from last year, Fei Shayo.
Shout out to Feyi. So yeah, like it would look different for a lot of people. For a lot of people, it's like, talking more on social media so that you can be seen, right? For a lot of people, would be, volunteer. Again, I think it's very important that people volunteer, because you don't know who you meet, you don't know who you talk to, people you come in contact with. I think volunteering is, a very important part of, career growth and progression. And I've done that and still doing that. So it's very important. So yeah, like just know what exactly you want. Be ready to be mentored. And what that would mean in time to something you said is, for some people, they'll say, oh, I want to be mentored. I know, yeah, now time to have the discussion. You're not showing up, right? Yeah. So I think, like, be ready to put your foot down and put one leg out and, give back as much as you want to be given to. So yeah.
Ooh. Wow.
Thank you so much, Izzie.
That was great. So we're about to,
You are still about to.
I know people want us to stay, giving you entertainment, but please, the women must stop talking at some point.
Anyway.
The women, yeah. Our course, our workbook, in case, if you've not gotten it by now, we've said the first episode, second episode, third I feel like I want to send people to your house, but I don't know all of these houses one by one. So I don't know what to say again, but please take your career into your hands. We can only beg you so far, but like I think that beyond all the banter and laughter, it's showing you how to like expand your range, your career, what you want to do next. And that course book literally breaks it down into step, right? That actual career in context. If you've not gotten it, we have a link somewhere on our page. Please check it out so that you know what to do next and you're able to actually actualize all the things you're hearing on the podcast and you're not just laughing away your sorrows. We know we are funny, but that's not the point of the podcast.
Because
I'm
I've
sorry.
laughed.
I apologize on her behalf. She's a little rude, but
Sorry.
I will chastise her
Sorry.
after this. But for real though, for real though, yes, you should definitely grab a copy for yourself. It is important, but also if you are a mentor, it's also a great resource for your mentees if they have questions. This is very practical. Like your career in context is a very practical work book. So please just get it and share with your mentees so that it's easy, or you can recommend it to them. They can buy it. It's affordable. But yeah, let's wrap up for today. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Proudly sponsored by Old School Africa as always. And my name is Joe, and I'm signing out.
Well, you already know my name. Peace. Izzie, you don't want to say bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, also, thank you for having me. So, yeah.
Bye, guys.